So I turned on the camera because I just had this really interesting interaction with my mother-in-law, and it gave me some perspective on my position in the world. So, in terms of AI, I was explaining to her that I basically was using. She was like, "Oh, what were you doing? Were you doing homework?" And I was like, "No, I was just using um ChatGPT to update some code that I had created with ChatGPT that transcribes YouTube videos." So I give you some context for this. A couple days ago, or yeah, a couple weeks ago, I found this AI YouTube transcriber because I was like, I'm taking notes on Notion. Like, can I just take rough notes and give ChatGPT my rough notes and transcripts and say, hey, fill it in together for me? Just like combine my rough notes and combine my transcripts, and use the transcript as a filler for the notes I'm taking. And I was using this website on the internet to just get the YouTube transcriptions, and I was like, oh, this is quite cool. Because transcriptions, I was just doing that and taking random notes whenever I would watch a YouTube video. And the other day, like probably like 2 weeks ago, this website was getting finicky, and I was like, what's going on? And I was like, I should probably try to make a backup for this. And I opened up ChatGPT and I was like, hey, I want to make a YouTube transcriber. What do I need to do this? And it just said, this is what you need. You need to import this, install this software, and what was the software? FFmpeg and what? And this other YouTube software, and use the OpenAI Whisper thing in it. And for someone who doesn't write programs a lot, who's always been interested in writing programs, like I can read programs and I can actually write program in Python, but I'm not like a frequent programmer because it's always this barrier to entry that is like, I have to dedicate hours of my day to doing this. And right now, it's like I can dedicate hours of my day to writing a program and know that at the end of the day, there's potentially a much higher chance that the code will work in terms of like fixing bugs and in terms of like coming up with the idea. So that's the whole context. And I was telling my mother-in-law like, yeah, I just was like using ChatGPT to update the code because I had created the code a couple weeks ago, and I wanted it to do longer videos, and we were figuring out how to like transcribe longer videos, and it was like split the videos up and then combine them at the end. And it was quite fascinating because I said it to her like this was such a normal thing, that how don't you know how to do this? And she was like, I don't. And I was like, everybody should know how to do this. Like this is like the new future. Like when you have a simple problem like this, you can easily write code and solve the problem. Now, it's not the kind of problem that solves all the problems of the universe or creates some major tech company. I don't know. That's not for me to say. But the fact that I could just load credit to my OpenAI API and also go on ChatGPT and write code, edit code, read the code, and fix whatever bugs that come up with it, with AI, with any of the tools, whether and any of the models, whether it's like O1 Mini or O1 Preview. I'm not Preview, O1 Mini or GPT-4o Mini. I could just do this, and this is the future in some ways, where when people say everyone would be able to write code, I don't think people are always talking about enterprise software. There's enterprise software which is like different, and but I don't think people are always talking about enterprise software. I think people are just talking about like basic everyday things. Like we could build wrappers around things that we care to use in this world easily. And maybe 15, 30 years from now in the future, there will be space for an AI model that is, I don't, way better than anyone when it comes to enterprise software, because it's going to be faster. It can communicate with it between itself. It knows code better than human beings. I've never met, like, I've been in engineering school. I've never met like one software engineer that was like, oh, a god. So everybody makes bulk mistakes, and AI makes mistakes but fixes its mistakes faster than we can think about it. And honestly, like, all I did to fix the mistakes was just to like say, can we break this video up? And it was like, yeah, actually that makes sense. We could do that. That was all. Nothing fancy, nothing crazy. And I started talking to her about, like, I'm sure there's other people who want to transcribe YouTube videos, because like that other website was getting buggy. And I was like, how can we do this in an ethical way where it's like I'm not necessarily paying for all the API usage and people can just upload it? And now I just started this whole project about, like, let's just put this on the website. And that's it. So AI is here to stay. And I think people are thinking too easily about, like, how can I apply this to my job? And people need to be thinking about, how can I apply this to my life? I think that's like a much better question. There's tons of better questions out there than how I can apply it to my life. But I guess a lot of times when I think about AI, it's like, how can I welcome the usage of this tool into my everyday world? How can I maximize my opportunity, and what are like the pain points that it can solve, or the pain points it can't solve? And those pain points it cannot solve, is there room for it to solve in the future? It's very, very, very fascinating stuff. And yeah, that's all. I just had this little rant, this little spiel. And now I guess I hope everyone's using AI. Yeah, have a good day. Again, use some AI tools. Peace.